JoJo characters are surprisingly simple, yet I find myself enjoying them a lot. Their backstories, if they even have one, are very simple. Many of them don't even have character arcs, and when they do, it's once again, simple. So why do I like them? It's their characterization. Characterization or personality is one of the most important parts of a good character, and JoJo creates such great personalities that backstory and arcs aren't necessary. But JoJo's characters started falling off after a certain point. No JoJo protagonist is bad, but after part 5, their quality definitely decreases, mainly in their characterization. As I said before, characterization, or their personality, is the main thing carrying their quality. All JoStars have a set of common traits, like a strong sense of justice and caring deeply for their allies. But after part 5, there isn't much distinction between protagonists. Before, each character had a unique trait that made up the surface of their personality. By this, I mean the first impression you get from them, and the trait that they display the most. I called this a distinct surface trait in my video on what makes a good character. Jonathan was very honest and righteous. Joseph was cunning and goofy. Jotaro was stoic. Josuke was usually peaceful but had a berserk button. Giorno was calm and intelligent. These traits are extremely powerful. Joseph's ability to stay comical and witty during dangerous situations and get out of situations with his cunning mind makes me love his character purely based off of his personality. Jotaro's distant, quiet, badass persona paired with his classy one-liners does the same thing for me. Characters with just strong defining traits can surprisingly be as enjoyable as those with goals, backstories, and arcs. But then we get to Jolene. What's unique about her? Does she have a distinct trait that the others don't, and being a girl doesn't count? If she has a distinct one, it's definitely not a major part of her personality. Therefore, she doesn't have a distinct surface trait. She's like a template JoJo, and the same thing can be said about the following protagonists. The supporting casts for each part have a similar issue, but in this case, the quality fluctuates more often. The best supporting casts have easily definable character traits that make up the surface of their character. In part 1, Speedwagon and Zeppeli have weak characterization, but Dio's is strong. He's a polar opposite of Jonathan. He's manipulative, selfish, and evil, which creates a strong dynamic between the two, especially in the first few episodes. Part 2 has a weak supporting cast. Joseph may have defining traits, but the others don't. Caesar is basically the same as Joseph, except he isn't cunning or goofy. If I asked you to define Caesar's personality traits, what words could you use that don't apply to Joseph? Whatever you came up with, they definitely aren't traits that make up a majority of his surface. Therefore, he has no distinct surface trait. As for Lisa, I can barely describe her personality. Part 3 took a step in the right direction, but it wasn't perfect yet. The supporting cast was expanded, allowing for more chances to create good characterization in one part. Polnareff was a hot-headed idiot. Joseph was cunning and wise, and Iggy was lazy. The problem is that some of the characters weren't as good. Avdol and Kakyoin don't really have distinct surface traits. The most I can say for Avdol is that he's a fortune teller, but this doesn't really come up much. For Kakyoin, I can say he's smart, but he's not much smarter than the others, not including Polnareff. Part 4 is the first to get this right. Koichi is a weak coward, Okuyasu is an idiot, Jotaro is stoic, Rohan is eccentric, and if you want to include the others, they also have distinct surface traits. Part 5 mastered this characterization, because not only is each character distinct, but the main group has several members. Bucciarati is the leader, Abakio is the jerk, Mista is the straight man, Fugo has anger issues, and Narantia is the idiot. Trish doesn't have a surface trait, but she's not part of Passion, so I can let it slide. Part 6 eventually has a large group like Passion, but I can only say 2 characters have surface traits. They are Emporio and Weather Report. Emporio is timid and Weather is stoic, but Emporio is rarely out on the field with a group, and is definitely not in battles, so I'm not even sure if I should count him. Part 7 and 8 go back to duos, and the characters once again don't have distinct surface traits. The same thing goes for the villains. My favorites are Dio and Kira. I already explained Dio, but Kira's trait is that he's a normal guy. Now this might sound like nothing, but when you take into account that he's the main antagonist of his part and a serial killer, it provides such a riveting juxtaposition. Then look at Cars, Diavolo, and Part 6's villain. 7s and 8s do have unique traits, but I don't think they appear enough for me to get attached to them. The quality of personalities is extremely important when character development, like backstories and arcs, aren't prevalent. Even if those 2 things were there, I still believe that personality is the most important. As I displayed before, characters like Joseph, Jotaro, and Josuke can become some of my all-time favorites simply by their dialogue and actions in the story being cool, funny, or respectable. A good character doesn't require character development, but if they don't have that, they definitely need a strong personality. And the quickest way to get that is a defining surface trait. A lot of parts have character tropes or archetypes, like the idiot, but that's not bad. I'd rather have archetypes instead of bland characters that blend together with the rest. JoJo's strategy of having distinct surface traits was effective, but has fallen out of use, leaving a lot of the characters after part 5 being unmemorable or hard to pin on what makes them unique. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my manga for free online. If you enjoy my content, please consider donating to my Patreon. All important links will be in the description.